All right, so continuing on with our overcoming objections, one that we always get, we talk about is, what's my trade worth, or I need to know how much money you're going to give me before I come in, because I've seen all kinds of numbers. So I'm a customer. I call in and I went on KBB and I've said my car is in excellent condition. It's in that 2 or 3% of all vehicles in America, right? And we know that that's not the case. So. And a customer says, well, it says I should be worth this, but I valued it on your website, and it's only showing me this. So, what are some reasons why that trade could be different, or how does modern go about giving trade appraisals online without sight unseen trade appraisals?
Well, one of the things that we do is we use the same tools that our consumers do. Mm-hmm. We use Kelley Blue Book. We use Auto Trader. We use it as a guide as to what the vehicle is worth, especially if it's not something that's our brand. If we're at a Nissan store, if we're looking at a Hyundai or we're looking at a Honda. Mm-hmm. So we can talk to our customers about, well, the great news is we use the same tools that you do. Let's go on and do it together.
Right.
Go to the main tool that we use is...
Well, we have a couple. So Trade Pending is one that we use on our websites now. We also use the KBB. And tools like Trade Pending, you plug that in, and it gives you, what's nice about it is you see what those vehicles have sold in the market area.
Right. So that's something that we need to consider. When customers are using those online tools, it may not be giving you in your area. It may be giving you a national average. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what we're using, we're narrowing it down to our market.
Right.
Right. So what is, if we were to take this vehicle and buy it at auction in this market, what could we get it for?
Right.
Right. So those are great tools, and we can talk our customers through it. And like you said, a lot of our customers, they view their vehicle as being in excellent condition, mm-hmm. right? That's their baby. They've done all the oil changes. They've done all the maintenance on it. So that's their perception of excellent.
Right.
Maybe not taking into consideration the fact that it needs new tires, right. that it hasn't been housed in a garage, so maybe it has some fading of the paint or the interior. These are things that they don't think about because they see them every day. They don't see the changes, and it's not something that they do all the time. So we need to ask them questions about their vehicle,
right.
and get them to really start thinking about, is it really in excellent condition?
Mm-hmm. And I think what you said, by having them go through and do it, well, is the paint, there's some chips there, and so you can't give that a 10.
Right.
The tires, they're going to have to be replaced and things like that. So, and we can do those kinds of things when they're on site. And I think when they're online, it's just, hey, listen, this is a guide, right? This
right.
isn't. It could be higher, it could be lower. It's just we really need to have to see it. And I think today now we've got a lot of tools that allow us to get a better idea, sight unseen, whether someone wants to do a video of their car and go through and
right.
show us exactly. We've seen that. Whether they use our digital retailing platform to upload photos into that, so that we can really see what does their tire tread look like, what's the interior look like, what's the exterior, and what we've been finding with customers that do this is they probably they take better pictures than we do online. So
those iPhones,
yeah,
right?
I mean, they've got a better camera. So it is. We are seeing a lot of good value, and in a lot of situations, maybe their car is worth a little bit more. But I think what consumers have got to understand, because they'll call us as well, and they'll say, hey, this dealership was going to give me $14,000, and you told me it was worth $12,500. So how are some ways that we can overcome that? Because we know, being in the business, that they're not going to give them necessarily another $1,500 for their trade, but if they're looking at another vehicle, maybe they're not discounting it as much. Or what are some things that you've seen that we could talk to a customer about?
Yeah, we don't typically miss trade values by $1,500.
Yeah.
Typically in that situation, if somebody is buying another vehicle, they can take the rebate money and put it more in the trade, give them more for their trade but less discount, right?
Right.
It's all in where they move the money.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that we need to let our customers know is that, yes, trade value is important, but it's the bottom line.
Right.
Right.
What you're paying, what you're actually going to be.
What you're
lost
actually
paying.
going to be paying or financing out the door. So yes, they might be giving you $14,000 for it, but they're not discounting their vehicle,
Right.
right? Whereas we're giving you $12,500, which is actually the true market value.
Mm-hmm.
We're not hiding anything, and then we're going to give you all the discounts that apply to the vehicle that you're purchasing
Yeah,
on the new side.
And I like that. I think that's those are great points, because customers, they don't know necessarily all the different things that we can do, but the bottom line of what they're going to be financing is really what matters. So.
But you know, Jamie, like we were talking about with the hot buttons of what equipment is important to somebody.
Right.
When somebody's buying a vehicle, they have hot buttons. It might be the selling price of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
It might be how much down payment is required. It may just be the monthly payment. But for some people, the trade value is their hot button.
Right.
And talking to the customer and controlling the conversation, we can find out
Find
what
that
their
out.
hot button is.
Right.
Yeah.
And I completely agree. I think one of the things that we talked about in some of our other objections were, being confident in the price that we're selling the vehicle for.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can be confident in the value that we're giving the customer for their vehicle. We know right now trades are hotter than ever. We need them. The values are high. And so we can be confident in the evaluation that our managers are giving to the customers. And like you said, the goal obviously is to get them to come in, right, so that
Sure.
we can look at it. But I think that first initial email or phone call or whatever it is to the customer, we can be very confident that we're giving them a good market value for their vehicle.
And people have to realize that that's one of our greatest sources of pre-owned inventory,
Right.
right? So it doesn't do us any good not to trade for vehicles.
Right.
So that's another thing that we can think about when we're talking to customers about that.
Absolutely.